Hi there, everybody. Welcome to Am I the Asshole podcast. I'm Danny Vega, joined by my lovely, lovable host, the meme queen herself, Sarah Levine. Sarah, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm officially done with my first semester of school.
Love to hear it. Congrats.
Woo.
You are officially what, 1/6 a master's degree?
I think a fifth.
A fifth of a master's degree. Love to hear it. We're also joined today by a very special guest, our new top tier patron. We welcome James from Burlington, Vermont to the program.
Hey team.
Hello.
James, we love to have you. Now, you were telling me a little bit that you have lived in the city, as I do love to say. You did fashion and branding in New York City. How was that for you?
It was great. I mean, definitely cut my teeth in a lot of like high intensity environments, which was really great. Learned a ton. And, you know, it was so funny. Like when I moved away, I had like this whole narrative about, oh, I'm leaving the city. And like, as like a kid from Vermont and like desperately wanting to leave Vermont. And I mean, like desperately, I was like, get me the hell out of here. And then at a certain point, I like came up to visit my parents because they were selling the house, and I was like helping them like move stuff out. And then I was like, oh shoot, I think I really love it up here. And it was just like a tail between my legs moment of like to my younger self, because my younger self was like, no, you got to get out of here. You got to like do your thing. And I did. And it was great. And like, who knows if I'll be here forever. Right. But like,
right.
My job kind of has like the same elements of what I used to do a little bit. So I kind of feel like I'm Hannah Montanaing and like getting like the best of both worlds. And it feels really good. So, I kind of got my toolkit all squared away in the city, and now I'm using it up here, which is really cool.
Love that.
That's amazing. I happen to know two things about Burlington. Well, one is almost a joke, but I think it's true that Burlington Coat Factory is kind of an employer there, something of note. But the biggest employer is like a cars.com or something like that. Is that true?
Oh, dealer.com. Yeah, like
dealer.com.
People work there. Mm-hmm.
Wait, so you know that fact about Burlington, but you don't know about the Ben & Jerry's factory?
The Ben & Jerry's factory is in Burles, Vermont?
Is.
It's actually like 45 minutes away in, no. I mean like Burlington. Okay. So also here's the other thing. Like when people talk about Burlington, like we refer to everything within like an hour of Burlington as like Burlington.
All right.
So I think that's healthy. I think that's good. I hate when people are like, oh, you don't know Apache Junction, Arizona is like no one knows. Just say Phoenix. What are you doing?
Right. That's exactly it. And it's like, sure, people know Stowe when like they're up here or they're like skiers or whatever, because like there's like, you know, it's like a bougie like ski town, and like that's sort of where Ben & Jerry's factory is, and you can go on like this tour and like do this whole thing. But, you know, and love Ben & Jerry's. They're awesome. And that's definitely like kind of our, like Vermont is like, oh, Ben & Jerry's, maple syrup, skiing, and like.
It's all the
hippies.
hits. Yep.
Like none of which I do. Like,
oh,
man. I'm such an indoor cat, which is like so funny because all of my coworkers, like all through the season, they're like, oh yeah, like great powder this weekend. And I'm like, cool. I'm like by my fire playing piano or like watching Succession.
Yes.
That sounds amazing. You have a fire and a piano. I love that for you.
Yeah. My piano's name is Coraline.
Oh.
I've had her since I was like 4. And that was like, you know, my parents gave her to me when they sold their house. And because I was like, what are you doing with Coraline? And they were like, well, and I was like, you're not getting rid of Coraline, and she's not going into storage. Like, so I had to find a place that like had enough room for her. But yeah,
I love
she's
that.
like, yeah,
that's beautiful. You know. I don't like naming a car really because it's such a consumer-y product, but naming a piano is beautiful and poetic. Now,
thank you.
I asked you if you had any stories for us or anything you want to talk about, and you said, and I just kind of preface this because I don't want people to be like, wow, Danny, you're really going to like shill AITA, but this is the story that you you wanted to tell the story of how you got into AITA and how you found the pod. And I got to admit, I am chomping at the bit for this thing. So let's hear it.
Oh my God. Okay. So this is the funniest thing. Like and I mean, like when I sent you the email about this, I also know that I was like super verbose and like, I was just like kind of on one because I was like already working and I was like, wait a minute, I have this idea. I'm just going to send it off. And then I looked at it later and I was like, James, you could not have sounded more pretentious. Like, even if you tried, like you could have tried, but you wouldn't have been successful. And so what happened is like, there are times where, you know, when you're like on your computer and you're like, I just want to read something engaging and I want to have an opinion about something and I want to be like, almost like I want to be mad about something because it feels good in some way. And so I don't know how I think, oh God, you know what it might have been? And like this, don't shame me. I mean, you can, but like it was probably BuzzFeed where like, you know, they do those horrible listicles of like, here's all these situations and like, da 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 da. And I was seeing all these horrible takes. And I just was like, oh, wow, this is like the Schadenfreude adjacent feeling that I'm hunting.
Yes.
And so then I was like, I went to Reddit because I was like, okay, let me go where like the real juice is. Like, I don't need some BuzzFeed editor like curating my AITA for me. And then I just started like, it became like the New York Times for me, like every morning. And then this phenomenon started happening where, and I'm sure this happens to y'all too, because this is like so much a part of your life, where you stop finding new stuff. And so then I was like, I wonder if there are other people who like talk about this. Like, I'd love to listen to people talk about this. And so I just like did a search on Spotify because I was like, there's gotta be someone, right? And then I was like, and I really hope it's good. And then I just like picked an episode and like, wouldn't it be great if I could be like, this was my first episode of AITA pod, but I don't remember which one it was, so I'm sorry. But immediately I was like, wait a minute, this is a whole other level because now I get to listen to other people's takes on other people's takes.
Yes, so meta.
On AITA.
I love it.
And I was just like, this is the dopest. And then there were also, and like, I put this in my email to you, Danny, like there were like these moments where I was like, no, like why? And that like got me fired up more. And then I would like listen to Sarah like debate you and then like back and forth. And I was like, this dynamic is absolutely everything.
Oh my gosh.
All that to say, you guys rock, and I'm so happy to be able to support you in some minute way. And just thanks for doing what you do, because it really brightens my day and gives me that, like, you know, fires me up.
Oh my gosh. I feel like you made Danny cry, but thank you.
Hey, I'm not crying. I'm a little close. Oh
my gosh.
I'm not
Okay.
Gonna cry. I'm not going to cry. But thank you. Wow. What that is, that's amazing. Just Schadenfreude and hot takes on hot takes. And what a story. Thank
I love
you.
it.
Yeah.
I feel like I got into Reddit a very similar way because I would read, I think at the time it was Thought Catalog. They would aggregate Ask Reddit threads. And I liked the idea of like people just crowdsourcing silly questions. But then I was like, I need more of this. I need to go straight to the source. And then I started just being on Reddit constantly.
Right. And wait, I'm sorry, I have to stop you. BuzzFeed used to be Thought Catalog?
No,
like they are one in the same.
Oh, no. I just mean, that's what I was like. I think they were aggregating this stuff before BuzzFeed was doing it.
Yes. Okay, that makes sense. I just had like a whole thing where I was like, is this like a CW freeform situation? Like, I was like, I didn't know.
No, I said it kind of weirdly.
Thought Catalog. No. That totally makes sense. Thought Catalog was the shit. I don't even know if they still do stuff, but yeah.
I don't know if they're around, but I was a big fan of the catalog, or the log, as my friend who worked there referred to it.
No way. That's brilliant.
Well, thanks so much. We really appreciate it. And, it was great to correspond with you. And on the level of correspondence, I want to apologize to everyone. We do have quite a backlog of submissions and things of that nature. I'm taking the next week off work. I'm hoping to do some serious damage post a lot of things, respond to a lot of things where I can, but I do apologize to everybody. It gets very overwhelming. We get a lot of submissions and they stack up very frequently. And again, please use paragraphs. Nobody puts paragraphs. This creates a lot of extra work because it's a giant blob of text and I can't post that because it's unreadable. Please use a paragraph. Please hit enter in between when you write 5 to 7 sentences. Please,
oh my God.
Please.
The other thing that I will say is that I have been banking everybody who submitted who didn't want it in the group, which we get. We will just do a round of like listener submission. We'll do a listener submission episode is what I'm trying to say. So we're banking those as well. They're not lost. They're in a Google Doc that I have.
Yeah, and again, look, if you submitted like 2 months ago and it got lost and it's very important to you and you're like, no, this needed to be covered, this was juicy, just resubmit, but say that you're resubmitting so we know what's going on so we don't double post because I'm still working through the backlog.
Yeah, or just be like, hey, just, I submitted, this was the title, like just wondering when you're going to post it. That works too.
And you can give us your email in the new email box on the website.
Yes, I saw that.
Just wanted to get that out of the way. Big shouts to our new patrons, Kristen, Andrea, Elizabeth, Rachel, Lisa. Welcome to the Judge Judy's. By the way, shout out to James, who's here with us because he is a rare Judge Jude. We are growing in number. The AITA boys are growing. Don't have too much juice for you all, but this is kind of a funny thing that happened last night. It was also a really cool night. So basically, my buddy is staying at my friend's house, and we ended up getting dinner. So we go to this Cuban place. I'm Cuban, so it was kind of exciting. I was like, yeah, this is my stuff. Right when we sit down, it's very, very cold, and I did this kind of move. You guys tell me AITA for not insisting, but kind of making a motion to grab the seat by the space heater. They have those like lamps, those heat lamps outside.
Yeah,
I was like,
the best.
Can I have that seat? And my friend was like, everyone wants that seat. And I was like, I know, if you want it, you can have it, but can I have it? So I got it.
Okay.
And they're kind of like, then my friend starts to roast me. He's like, really? You don't think that, Michael's girlfriend wanted that seat? And I was like, well, if she wanted it, she could stay there. I was just asking. And anyway,
I mean, all right.
It gets worse.
It gets worse? So great.
It gets worse. So then I sit down and then the server comes up and it's like right away his energy is very skittish. And as I'm ordering, so like there's this weird moment of like people are hesitating to order. So I kind of seize the floor, and as I seize the floor, there's like, what are those long like weeds called with little? They look like wheat almost. You guys know what I'm talking about? They're like it's like a hairy.
Are you talking about a cattail?
Yes, a cattail.
Okay.
Exactly. So this cattail is floating off this plant, like in front of me. It's like disrespecting my space and just floating in front of me.
Okay.
So I'm like kind of swatting it. The waiter is kind of laughing, and there's this awkward tension. And then I'm like, can I get a hot water? I say somewhat coarsely, and he's like, sure. I guess the way this interaction went down is so weird. Yeah, so then the cattails bother me. I rip it out. I killed it. I ripped it out of the plant.
Oh man.
And so the server is like, and he just runs away, only having taken my drink order.
He runs away?
Why did he run away?
I think because I freaked him out. So he's like, who is this maniac who's destroying our plants?
What? Oh my God.
But could he clearly see that it was like right in front of your face though? Or was this something that like wasn't, were you making it obvious, or was this something that like felt really out of nowhere for him?
It was so obvious he was kind of laughing at it.
Oh, okay.
So he
this
was
is
kind
so
of laughing
weird
at me. And then I killed the plant. Okay, so then there's this weird energy, and then my friend goes to me, she's like, yeah, if I was your server, like, I wouldn't like you. And I was like, oh my God, that's super fair. This is so embarrassing. I'm asking for hot water, and it's just like, and I'm killing the plant, and it's just so weird. So then
he's like, what are you doing with that hot water? Now I'm not going to bring it to you.
Yeah, he can't trust you anymore. He doesn't know what you're capable of.
So then I don't know, I had this crazy inclination to dare my friend to get like Cuban coffee, which is very strong. And I'm like, I'll give you $20 to get the Cuban coffee. And I didn't really expect him to take it because like if I did that, I would be up all night and it would like ruin my entire next day. So then he kind of doesn't acknowledge it, and then he does it and gets the Cuban coffee, and then I'm like, oh no, now I just feel terrible. I'm gonna like ruin my friend's night.
Oh.
And I'm spending money to ruin it. So
God.
I'm in this weird guilty place where I just feel like a monster. Server comes back and it's like such a weird vibe that he takes half the orders of the table and then tries to walk away. And my friend's like, stop, I need to take everybody's order. There's 4 people.
So funny.
Yeah. Anyway, dinner comes and it's delicious and we're actually having a pretty good time. And I just felt so uncomfortable. And I was like, gosh, this has just been so much. And I'm just such a difficult person. And all 3 of these people were kind of with me during the hard, dark breakup days. And so I like half out of being an okay person and half out of guilt for being a nightmare who was destroying the property. I was just like, it's on me, guys. And I picked up dinner. And so I guess I'm ruining the good deed now by telling you guys.
That's so nice of you.
I wanted to tell this as a hack because I have to admit, I'm not a big gift giver, but this felt like a very aligned with me kind of gift. Like, yes, it came out of a place of guilt, which sucks, but I was like, God, that felt amazing. I want to buy my friends food. What a great feeling. And it would just, I don't know, it just added a cool air to everything. And so I guess I'm kind of trying to spin it as maybe this could be a good way for I guess for us guys who, and I'm not saying you're one of these people, James, but for any bros out there who, or women or anybody who isn't prone to giving gifts, this might be the right kind of gift for you to give. That was my insight.
I like that.
Oh my God. That's perfect though, because I suck at gift giving. And I have like one of my friends who's like, and it's nice because she like hasn't really done this very much like in the past year, but like in like the years before that. And I'm not saying that like it isn't nice to give people gifts, but there's a lot of pressure around that. And like she would sometimes just always be like, oh, I have like a little like gift for you or like whatever. And I love her very dearly, but like that's not like my love language. Like I'm really bad at that piece. And so like I love buying people drinks. I like if I go to a bar with people and like, you know, we're an espresso martini in, like you can bet that I'm like, okay, everybody, like let's go. But like gifts are really hard because then like if somebody gives me a gift, then I'm like, wait a minute, do you expect me to be giving you gifts like consistently? And then if so, what? So gifts are hard. I mean, like gifts are hard. So I'm fully in your corner on this one, Danny. Like a nice dinner with like good people and like you pick up the check, like that is, it's not like a moment where you're like, it's not a performative moment. It's just a nice thing to do. So like, go you. I'm aligned.
I think that's a good offer and one I wouldn't have thought to do if you're worried that you kind of botched the meal. No, I think that was really nice. I want to know what happened to your friend who had the Cuban coffee.
He's very non-responsive, and I'm often like, does Michael hate me? But he doesn't. He's just not a good text backer. So I don't know, but he told me he would sleep fine through it because I texted him at 10:30 and I was like, are you still awake? And he just didn't respond.
Damn, some people are like that and I envy them so much.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could drink coffee 24/7 and a big Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all y'all out there, even you guys up in the nosebleeds. We love to see it, folks. I don't know. Please rate, review.
He means Vermont.
Please rate, review, and subscribe. We really appreciate that. Please join us on Patreon. We've got, 85, 90 episodes. We've got a WhatsApp that is popping off constantly. Exclusive content, exclusive episodes. You could even be like James if you're ready to rise to the challenge. Folks, get your own episode. It's all there. It's all available to you. And without further ado, let's play a little bit of Guess the Verdict. AITA. I am making my wife feel insecure.
Oh no, you guys are so tricky. So wait, who goes first? Sarah, do you want to go first?
Up to you. I can go
let's let
first.
Sarah go first.
Actually, I feel like it's cheating though if Sarah goes first, because then I might be like, oh, I might just, because she's
It's true.
pretty right.
She is the queen. She is the queen. Yeah, you go first. You're right. James, you go first.
She's like the Annie Oakley of GTV. Am I the asshole for making my wife feel insecure? So if I say NTA, I feel like I'm making almost like there might be some sexism in there, but then if I say YTA, then I'm going to get tricked. But what's the worst of two evils? I'm going to say YTA. And even though I might be tricked, I don't want to take a risk here.
Sarah, that's you.
Okay, this is tough. Here's the thing. I feel like this situation, I can't really see like an NAH, ESH middle ground. So I feel like it's one of two things. Like either the husband is a monster and is like AITA for like I don't know, like going to a holiday party and like my coworker was sitting on my lap and was calling me her work husband and when are you going to divorce that witch for making my wife feel insecure, or it's like the wife like has problems she needs to work on. So I'm not really sure which way this would go. AITA, it's not phrased as a question. Now I'm just making things up.
Go ahead.
Yeah, AITA, I'm making my wife feel insecure, right? So it's not really phrased as a question. It's not AITA for doing this. So I'm just going to make shit up and say that seems like someone who lacks like nuance. So I'm going to go with a YTA.
Incredible analysis. Unfortunately, you're both wrong. Husband lost 130 pounds while wife was preggo. And wife says, he's making her feel insecure. Top comment went to Tamil guy, NTA, but your wife needs counseling.
All right, fair.
Yeah. And this is a tricky one, right? Because like, there's so much like, and this is why I kind of went YTA to begin with, because I was like, there is so much about like and again, I'm like super queer, so like it's sometimes hard for me to speak in like binary dynamics, even though they like stereotypically exist. But like it's always, there is this like societal expectation that is like long held that like women can be like over emotional, and I really hate that because I don't think it's true. And so like I feel like everybody's feelings are really valid, but I also agree that like if somebody is owning their body and the way that they want to look and the way that they want to treat it, like that's not anybody else's problem. And like, you have to own how you react to the people around you. And that I don't feel like she is doing. And like, obviously they could maybe communicate about like a way to make her feel supported, which I think is like a really healthy way to approach it. But like, at the same time, at the end of the day, you don't get to control what somebody else does with their body.
I think that's excellently put.
Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah. All right. Well, here we go. AITA for telling a girl I don't care about her period pain.
Oh. Sheesh. Wow. Oh, heck. Okay. I'm
going obvious. I'm going obvious. YTA.
I agree. If I can't like devil's advocate right off the bat, that's not my game.
Okay, well, plot twist, you guys are both wrong because these are two females or two people with uteruses. So here's the deal. OP is 14, female, has a lot of chronic illnesses. OP, has had a really rough go at life. Had a heart-lung transplant, a kidney transplant. The kidney and liver are failing. Damn, is this fake? Whatever. Also has severe sickle cell anemia. And so OP is like just having a rough go of it. So OP starts having really bad pain, spends the whole day in the nurse's office. This one friend texts her in the group chat and is like, where are you? OP says, I'm in the nurse, I'm having really bad pain. And she goes, well, I don't go to the nurse when I have period pain, so you should just deal with it and come to class. And and they're arguing back and forth. And at one point, the girl says, "Believe me, my period cramps get really bad. I understand, but I still go to class." And then OP's like, "I don't really care," and got really upset and started calling her a misogynist and saying that she was mocking period pain, even though OP... Wait, I don't understand now, because now I'm confused, because in the top comment, or in the intro, OP says, "I, 14F, have chronic illnesses." This person said to her, she says, "I'm a misogynist and mocking girls' period pain because I will never experience it." Huh. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed this paragraph. OP will never have a period because of their chronic illnesses. In any case, I think the OP has more than experienced period pain. So the top comment was, "NTA, she's being really insensitive."
I just don't even know why this was a conflict.
Yeah.
I
think many of us who've had a period can agree that having a organ transplant is probably worse than getting a period. And I have really bad period cramps, and I feel comfortable saying, like, no, this is worse.
Absolutely. As we all know, giving an organ is the most sacred thing anyone can do.
Oh, man.
And I take this opportunity to say that Dawn Dorland followed me on Twitter. I don't know if I ever said this on the pod.
Oh, yeah, I don't think we ever did.
On Twitter. It changed everything for me. And she said she appreciated my apology in the second episode about
I think it was my apology.
Oh, wait, this is the bad art friend person?
Yes. Yes,
Whoa!
Dawn Dorland was
Congratulations,
the kidney donor.
Danny.
Wild.
Thank you. And I said that half as a joke, but I truly do think donating a kidney is a seriously badass move. I mean, good Lord.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, Dawn was she kind of teased. She's like, "I have juice, but I can't give you the juice because there's lawsuits." And I was like, "You're killing me."
Okay, well, once those court docs are out, we're going to FOIA the shit out of that, get Dawn on the pod. It's going to happen.
We love to see Dawn on the pod. AITA for giving a former friend a negative job reference.
Ooh.
Oh, geez. You know what? Like, honestly, I am going to go with NTA unless this is, like, for some reason, like, super malicious, because you have to be honest on job references. Like, you just gotta. Because otherwise you're, like, doing a disservice to your friend. You're doing a disservice to their experience at the place they're going. You're doing a disservice to the person who's asking you. Like, NTA, I think.
I'm kind of thinking YTA, because you shouldn't agree to give a reference unless it's going to be good.
Ooh, better point. Sorry about that.
No need to apologize. Danny?
Okay, well, YTA is correct.
Woo!
So here's the story. The friend is chronically ill, but OP notes is often absent for other reasons. Absent because of anxiety. They ended up saying in the review, quote unquote, "I'm sure the quality of her work is impressive and she does all her work well and on time, but she's prone to missing hours due to health and would often have to leave work midday due to personal issues."
Oh my God.
Top comment went to a New Beginning Sheet. Bringing up her health problems is inappropriate for a wide variety of reasons. YTA for that. It also sounds like her flakiness is related to social commitments, not work commitments, so I don't understand how that's relevant. Hello Friends points out, well, I feel that Katie, the person in question, should have reached out to OP to check to see if she can use OP as a reference. That's a professional faux pas. Further due diligence on her part could have avoided this situation, so...
But see, that's the ticket. Like, that's the tea right there. Because, like, I agree with you, Sarah. Like, if somebody asks you, like, yo, and they should, right?
Yeah.
Like, can I use you as a reference? And then you have to be like, you know what, I'm not comfortable with that. Or you can have a real conversation about, like, why.
Yeah.
But, like, you can also just kind of just be like, oh, I'm not comfortable with that. But if somebody uses you as a reference without telling you, like, that to me is just like YTA, 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 YTA.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of tough.
It's pretty presumptuous, yeah.
Yeah. All right, AITA for not wanting a friend at my dinner get-together because they only eat well-done beef.
Oh, gosh. I saw this, too. Now I wish I clicked it. It's so juicy. Well, not juicy, because it's well done.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
I went for it. I mean, no, I'm gonna say not the asshole. Come on, that's disgusting. I don't want to have that well done beef. Plus, what if the friend's Donald Trump? No way. NTA.
Is that his
for
thing?
me.
Ew.
Yeah, he likes really well done, and he puts ketchup on steak. He's a monster.
Oh my God.
Oh, yikes. I'll agree with Danny on this one.
Okay.
I kind of think it's a bit of a, yeah, there's no excuse.
Yes, you guys are right.
Yes, we tied.
One for
We
what,
tied,
4?
James, we tied.
You did it. So basically, OP is making beef Wellington and having a dinner party. You guys know what beef Wellington is, right?
Oh, yeah,
I
sure.
love beef
We love
Wellington.
it.
Is it when there's like the beef is cooked into a sandwich?
A puff pastry. You nailed it.
Yeah.
So basically, OP is having a dinner party. They're cooking beef Wellington. One of the friends dropped out. They're like, oh, well, why don't we just replace Brandon with this Ava? But the thing about Ava is that she will literally only eat well-done beef. And instead of just being like, no, it's fine, I'll try it, or no, I just won't come, she's making it a huge problem and is like, well, why can't you just make the whole beef Wellington well beef? Why can't you just like cook my piece extra and just like making it a whole thing? So the top comment was, tell Kate and David, who are the people siding with Ava, to make it if it's so simple, NTA. So, yeah.
Ugh, God. This is just such a food crime.
It is.
Beef well done. Don't force that on anybody.
No.
Please.
But it's also like, it's like he could make it, you could come, and then like, since you're such a weirdo, you could just nuke your portion in the microwave until it's more cooked. Like, I don't see why this has to be everybody's problem.
Yeah.
Obviously,
I mean, like,
if you're such a nasty little freak, you like your beef well done, you're going to be fine with microwaving it. So just microwave it, you little weirdo. Go ahead, James.
oh, no, totally. I completely agree. And this just like reeks of entitlement. Like, if somebody is kind enough to be like, oh, hey, I'd like to have you for this thing. Like, don't be like, well, everybody must do this my way. Like, no, get fucked.
Yeah, I hate that.
Well put. Well, I'm honored, James. I hope you're honored with me to have tied the meme queen herself, the GTV empress herself, has been matched. A rare occasion. Guys, please rate, review, and subscribe. And extra, please join us on Patreon. And double extra, please have a very happy holiday. Our second story of the day. AITA for refusing to pay for my fiance's ticket. But first, AITA for waiting until the day before my friend's wedding to tell her that her husband had cheated on her. Wow, I did not realize Osama bin Laden was writing AITA posts. Here we go. My friend Lisa and I, both 23F, have been good friends since we were around 5 years old. We have a close group of friends made up of 6 girls. About 2 years ago, Lisa began dating one of our friend's older brothers, Mike, and announced their engagement around a year ago. I began dating Mike's best friend, Luke, at around the time of their engagement. We're still together. Around 2 months ago, Luke told me that Mike had cheated on Lisa in the beginning of their relationship.
No.
And he had never told her because Mike was insistent on it being a mistake and swore he'd never do it again. Luke begged me not to tell Lisa as Mike was now really happy with Lisa. I went back and forth over whether to tell her. I knew I should, but if there was a little chance of it happening again and they were both happy, I didn't want to be the one to end that. I also live about 4 hours away as I moved for college, and I didn't feel as though it's something I could tell her over the phone. I came back to our hometown a week before the wedding, which was this past Saturday, and it began really stressing me out. On Friday evening, when I'd had a bit to drink, I pulled her aside and told her she was devastated, but went through with marrying him anyway. She's cut me off, saying a true friend would have told her earlier, told all of our friends to cut me off. Mike has probably told her it isn't true, which isn't helping. Lucas told me I was an asshole for the way I went about it. AITA.
Oh, God.
What a mess.
I mean,
what a mess. This is not straightforward. I don't know how I feel.
This is the thing. I'm like, would you guys tell? First of all, fuck Luke for putting this on the OP. Like, I think that's bullshit as well. You're just sharing the guilt.
Seconded. Yeah. Okay. So, couple things happening here. We have the whole cheating thing, which everybody on Reddit has a friggin' opinion about. Like, somebody needs to listen to some Esther Perel. But like, Okay. I don't think it was Lisa's place. Like, I really don't. Especially not in the way that she went about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, also, she wasn't there when it happened. Like, she wasn't
Right.
in the picture when it happened. Like, that is like something that's different. Like, if you know about it when it's happening, and then you have a responsibility absolutely to say something. And you should do it in a timely fashion. And you should do it in a way that's like, compassionate.
Yeah.
But also here, like, she's like, on Friday evening when I'd had a bit to drink, I pulled her aside and told her, like, I'm sorry, girl, what? You blow into town after knowing this girl for how long? And you say,
Yeah.
let's have a martini. And like halfway through your drink, you're like, by the way, I just wanted to let you know your fiance cheated on you like 3 years ago. No.
Yeah, you're right. That's really
Like, am
bad.
I crazy?
No, that's bad.
Was it 3 years ago? Because it was 2 years ago Lisa began dating and announced it about it. So it was 2 years ago. Still, yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't matter. I like
Okay.
how you
2
describe her
years.
as blowing into town. Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, I was kind of on board because I was like, well, yeah, she felt stressed out, she felt guilty, but like, and she was being honest, so I kind of understand why she did what she did. But I think the fact that it was hearsay really kind of changed it. It was like, this wasn't really your secret to tell. You had no, this happened to be given to you because Mike's best friend, Luke, told you. It just wasn't information that needed to be dispersed. And then to disperse it so close to the wedding is just nothing short of terrorism. It was kind of like, well, what was your intent this whole time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if
you
I were in
couldn't
Lisa's
call her.
shoes and someone told me, oh, like I heard this happened years ago, like right before my wedding, like there's not enough time to investigate and make a decision. Like I would be pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she went into game time and she was like, "Oh, hey guys, why don't you play basketball with a brick?" Like, no, like it's
Yeah.
like when you hear it, you're either like, "Yo, Luke, this is how I would do it," and I'm not saying it's the right way, but if Luke told me that Mike had cheated on Lisa, I would have been like, Luke, now that you've given me this information, like in some ways, I wish you hadn't,
Yep.
because now it's my responsibility as Lisa's like childhood friend to actually do something with this information. And so I can either do something with this information or you can do something with this information, but one of us is going to do something with this information. How do you want to handle it?
I think that's perfectly fair.
Very fair.
Because it's like if you
Now,
want to
that
play the
said-
like pushing the blame, like if you want to share the blame and play that game, then we're gonna share it,
Right.
Like go to
Exactly.
confession if you want to ease your conscience or talk to your therapist, whatever floats your boat.
Right. Now, so that said, I think we all have qualms with OP. I think, look, there's really no way OP gets out of this unscathed. I do have an attack to mount on the wife. I've got issues with her because you know what she did? Sure, she was upset. She had a right to be upset. She also had a right to be like, get out of my life, OP. I think that was within her rights. However, I particularly did not like how she, according to OP, told all of our friends to cut me off. Now that methinks the lady doth protest too much. Really? So now this girl doesn't deserve to be friends with any of your friends? Which to me reads as a denial response, right? It's like, oh, well, clearly she's just here to sow terror. And she was, and she made a big mistake and a miscalculation, and she should have done what she'd done. But it ultimately was the truth. It wasn't wildly inept, a Danny Vega move, if I ever heard one. But yeah, the fact that then she would try to cut her off makes me think that that's wicked, man. That is wicked. You stay out. You stay out. If you want to cut someone out of your life, that's fine. That's your right. But like, it's messed up to be like, oh, well, none of my friends can be friends with them. Like, I just think that's wrong.
I guess my only kind of thing is though, they're only gonna listen if they agree.
Not necessarily. It's her wedding. She kind of has all this social cachet right now. You know, as James put so poetically, she was just blowing through town. It's like, I kind of feel like this is going to really stack the cards against her. And like, I understand having a mean impulse given that it is your wedding, etc. But like, if she cut me off, so I guess Was Opie invited to the wedding?
I know. I'm wondering. I'm like, did she go?
Yeah, now I'm not. I'm not exactly clear. By the way, YTA Reddit, because this post was banned off the subreddit because it's a relationship post.
It was bullshit. I was like, this is so juicy.
This is.
I hate those rules. I think they're so dumb. Like, there's ones that I'm like, oh, you just don't want to talk about this? Like, you just don't want to talk about it?
They've gone too far. They truly have gone too far. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think that's a really messed up way to offer it, to go about it. And like, for Luke to also say that like she was an a-hole. I mean, I kind of feel like it's the wrong thing that, I don't know, should Luke have told Lisa?
I'm like, well,
Mike should have told Lisa.
Yeah, I think it's bullshit for Luke to like give her this information that I feel like James said she feels like she needs to act on, and then turn around and call her the asshole for I mean, she was for the way she went about it, but it's also like, dude, I wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for you. So zip it. Like,
that's exactly right. Like, basically, Luke didn't want to be the keeper of the secret because he maybe felt like it was like too much whatever for him, and he was like, oh, you're going to be like my partner's secret person, which like never really works, by the way. And then he was like, oh, you didn't handle this the right way? Well, Luke, you didn't really handle it the right way either. Literally, I'm calling this, and every single frigging person in this situation is like, everyone sucks. Literally everyone, not just Lisa or OP.
I feel very comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I don't like OP. I don't like Lisa. I don't like Mike, who's a cheater. Luke is hiding the cheat. He's then coming at her. He didn't see OP's side at all, which, come on, that was weighing on her. I think understandably that would weigh. She felt obligated to tell. Then, you know, Lisa goes on this basically like damage control campaign. It's easier for her to, extricate OP rather than it is to confront Mike. Mike is probably, I mean, Mike has a no-brainer move here. He was already denying it essentially and suppressing it. He'll just play that same game. He's like, oh, I didn't really kiss her. It wasn't, it was misconstrued or whatever game he played. Or he's like, oh, that didn't even happen.
No, she kissed me. Like,
yes, exactly. I think we agree. You're right. AITA for waiting until the day before my friend's wedding to tell her that her husband to be had cheated on her. I think we all agree. ESH.
Yeah, big fat one.
Absolutely. I don't want to be friends with any of these people.
Guys, please rate, review, subscribe. We really appreciate it. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. Please submit aitapod.com and we'll get to your submissions. Danny's taking the week off. I'll get to it. Why did I just switch to third person? I don't know. Our second story, AITA for refusing to pay for my fiance's ticket. Me, 26M, and Hannah, 26F, have been dating for 2.5 years and engaged for the last 5 months. She's finishing up law school and works part-time at a restaurant. I work full-time and make decent money. We live together, but I pay the mortgage along with everything else besides groceries. Last week, we were invited to attend the college football playoff by my friend Derek. We would be staying in an Airbnb with our friend group, Derek, his girlfriend, another couple we're good friends with, and us. So your friend group is Derek and a couple. Okay. I'm a huge fan, so I was pumped and immediately accepted. Derek told me the cost, and it was pricey due to the tickets / lodging / food / alcohol, plus 6 hours driving and gas, but it was doable. But as usual, I have to double it for Hannah. With Christmas coming up, I didn't think it would be smart to pay this amount, so I told him just put us down for one, and he could give the other ticket away. Hannah isn't into football. I figured she wouldn't care. I tell her about the trip and she gets upset, saying she wants to go. I tell her she can, but she needs to pay for herself then. She starts crying and asking why I'm being mean. I tell her it's not me being mean, but I simply cannot afford it. She says, why are you going then? I say I can afford myself, but not both of us. She says it's unfair because it's our friend group. She asks if I can pay and she'll pay me back. I tell her no, because I've heard this before, new laptop, makeup, vacations, and have been repaid very little or not at all. She, along with Derek's girlfriend, is calling me an asshole. I don't think I'm being one. AITA!
So,
oh God.
I'm going to say I feel like reading the Reddit comments makes me think that I'm like in the Twilight Zone because I'm seeing a lot of red flags here. like on her
Oh, yeah.
from her. Like him just being like, you need to pay for yourself, a very reasonable request, immediately goes to crying and saying I'm being mean, which just is like a childish accusation to me. And then there's the fact of like, oh, she's borrowed him money before and then not paid him back. Like, that's sus.
That is sus. Wow, this is great. Guys, on a bonus episode, I really attacked a man and Sarah was not with me initially. So it's great to see a reverse where Sarah is coming for our lady Hannah. And I'm not against what you're saying, Sarah. I'm kind of with it. But I also just want to point out to Hannah, I mean, I'm really feeling for her. Law school is hard, folks.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest schools you can possibly go to, dare I say. I'm sure med school is extremely hard.
Oh, yeah.
Personally, I went to philosophy school, and that was not hard. So these are things I know. I mean, it wasn't graduate school. Anyway, she also worked part-time at a restaurant. I kind of feel like Hannah is at her limit. I also feel like OP is trying to accommodate that and yet did not. First of all, like, yes, you're right, Sarah. Why isn't Hannah repaying her debts? You know, but it also feels like OP and her aren't operating as a unit, you know, like, yes, she is making a sacrifice right now and she's in tough times and OP is working full time and making decent money. So they're really in entirely different situations. Hannah is about to likely become the breadwinner.
Yeah.
And, you know, I feel like OP just needs to be with her and made this decision without her. And like, this whole history of non-payment, etc. I mean, new laptop. I mean,
a new
come
laptop.
on.
That doesn't sound like a frivolous expense. The vacation.
Exactly.
And makeup?
I feel like
Like, what kind of makeup is she buying?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right?
Yeah.
It takes a lot of makeup. Like, okay. So, also another quick thing here. I immediately jumped to, it was pricey due to tickets, lodging, food, and alcohol, plus 6 hours drive and gas, but it was doable. But as usual, I have to double it for Hannah. Are you not sharing a bed? Are you not sharing lodging? Are you not in some way buying alcohol together? Are you like, you can't, like, what are you, what kind of alcohol are you
what's
buying?
really
Buying, like, the
double
tiniest
aside
bottle?
from the tickets?
Yeah, and like 6 hours drive and gas. Are you both? What, you have a Vespa? Like,
Yeah, it's actually not. You don't like. I feel like the gas is like you'll fill up one time each way. That's it.
yeah, that's like $40 if you have like a Jeep.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not that much money. It's a good point.
So this
And
is inherently
yeah.
like, sorry. Oh no, keep going.
Well, I was going to say, he then tries to spin the story, right? He's like, well, she's not into football, so she won't care. And it's like, well, obviously, this isn't entirely a football trip. It's like a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if it was just about the tickets, at first I thought that's where this is going, is that she wasn't invited to the football game, which even so, I would have said, why would you not make this decision together? By the way, like, wait, is this set right now? Is this holidays? Yeah, it is holidays, because that's this whole angle that Christmas is coming up. It's like, really? You're going to go to a trip around Christmas without your girl that you've been dating for 2.5 years and you're engaged? Or you're not going to tell your fiance that you're going on a trip?
Well, when are the college football playoffs? Because I think he just means like they have to put in the money around Christmas time. So let's see.
Oh, if this is like some NCAA March Madness.
Well,
stuff,
whatever. Sarah, I don't need the Christmas
maybe
aspect
that's
here.
basketball.
I'm just saying
This
it's
is
not like
not even-
he might not be leaving her for the holidays.
No, it's not the holidays, but I'm just saying it's around the holidays and forget it. I don't even need that. It's your fiance. You are excluding her from a trip because you just decided I figured she wouldn't care. I mean, my friend, you are simply not ready for a marriage if that is your attitude. That's your friend group. And also, I think, yes, you do have to clear a trip with your SO. That is very standard practice. You can't just, I'm leaving for this and that, you know? It's like, come on.
I completely agree. I mean, like normally, okay, so like in the beginning, I was kind of like I really don't like people who make you like tell you every detail of your decision making and like need you to like tell them if you're like, I don't like friends who are like, oh, like, why didn't you invite me to this? Or why didn't you invite me to that? Like, we all have a lot of different friends, okay? We all have lives. Like, let's all be independent, okay? Like, go do your own thing. That being said, Danny, you're right. Like, they are engaged. They have been engaged for 5 months. That means that they are in some ways about to like split finances to a certain extent. And like, now's the training grounds for that, babe.
True.
So like, also, what is this new laptop makeup vacation thing? Like, I get like very little or not at all, but like, this is like, okay, it's like pause, rewind, and freeze, because it's exactly right. You have a conversation about this. And like, then if in that situation, she's being like super difficult, then it's a different conversation. It's not about the trip. It's about the relationship. But
Right.
if we're talking about the trip, like, yeah, this dude, I think he's avoiding how he feels about her.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's
read.
salty that he has to pay for things, but I just feel like if you're building like a marriage and a partnership, that's just the way it is sometimes. Like one person supports one person, and then I'm sure at some point the shoe's going to be on the other foot, especially when we're talking about law school. Like if she goes into any private practice, essentially, like, you know, she'll be making good money. It's not going to last forever.
And I really think this is a form of litigating, which I think is a super toxic relationship pattern, right? Because he's basically saying, well, I made this decision unilaterally, so that was already messed up. Then he says, well, I told her no because I've heard this before. New laptop makeup vacation and I've been repaid very little. So why then are you straight up being like, Exhibit B, you did not pay me for this other trip? Well, then that's a separate issue. Why is that only coming up now? If that's an issue, that needs to be confronted separately. That doesn't justify, and then what OP is really doing is trying to justify the fact that he made a decision unilaterally instead of being like, well, I need to confront her about this because this is a problem that I'm having. But I don't even feel that it is a problem or that it bothers him. It's just now he's retroactively deciding that that's the issue because he was like, oh, well, screw Hannah, I'm going on this trip.
I do agree with you.
This is like major spin.
Yeah, like I agree with that, but then don't you think it justifies that like her attempt at a compromise is bullshit and like that's not gonna fly?
Her attempt
at a compromise is horrible. Like just being like, why are you going
I just think he's saying that as a way to be like, oh, well, I'll pay you back. And he's saying like, well, no, you won't. So next, like, what's the next alternative, you know?
That's a fair question. Like, I mean, I think the solution, like a stitch in time saves 9, right? Like they had to have this conversation before this kind of solutioning conversation started, because then we're leaping to an ultimatum of, if you go, it means you don't care about me, versus him being like, I would love you to pay me back and then we can consider doing trips together. Like this is like a different moment. So now, I mean, I think he's a dick and I don't know enough about this money sitch or how accurate it is, because also I don't totally trust this narrator. So maybe it's too soon to call it, but I'd say YTA just for sheerly the way he handled it and setting her up to lose in the conversation. How was she supposed to react?
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I don't like the way she said, why are you going then? But on the other hand, I'm like, well, yeah, but this was mean. I mean, this was mean. Like, he should have consulted with her. That was it. He kind of did it behind her back. That's like so shady and disrespectful. And then almost kind of gaslighty to be like, well, what? I didn't do anything. I can afford me. It's like, well, yeah, but like we normally do things a certain way. So why are you acting like we don't? You know, it's like you created a precedent. Was it a kind precedent? Yes, but we're in a relationship where kindness is expected and grace is expected. You are now breaking that precedent without explanation and then being like, oh, well, you didn't pay me back before. It's like, well, then why now all of a sudden we're in a court case? So like, I'm with you. I'm with you, James. I don't like this OP.
Damn. I mean, you guys bring up good points.
The Orig Princess writes, ESH, what's his dynamic? She's acting like a spoiled child. You're acting like she is a child. You teach people how to treat you, goes both ways. She's acting like you're her sugar daddy. You're acting like she's a child who doesn't deserve to go on an adult trip.
What I didn't like about it was I did feel like she was acting spoiled, but I also feel like he was going to go regardless of how she felt, and he's trying to justify it. And he got me for a second. He did a pretty good job. But just the nuts and bolts of it are like, this is your fiance. You can't just like be like, all right, see ya. Like,
exactly. I think this is about how, not what. Okay,
Yeah.
if he had said,
Right.
hey, our friend group, you know our huge friend group that consists of Derek and one other couple? So our friend group is going on a trip, babe, and here's the thing, it's to the college football, and I really want to go. I know normally I pay for these sorts of things, but I can't afford that because I'm trying to buy my brother a PlayStation 5 for Christmas. So I just wanted to see how that hits your ears. You know, and then she goes, oh, okay, well, so you can't pay for my trip? I really can't pay for your trip. I'm sorry, babe. You know, I'm tight on cash. But is it okay if I go? I know you would want to go normally, but like, I just can't afford it, and I don't think you can afford it right now. And then that's a normal conversation. And even if that ends in a bad note where she goes, well, can't you pay for me? I'll pay you back. And he goes, well, didn't you say that before? And you didn't get me before. And then she gets huffy because she knows deep down that's true and that she just truly doesn't have the money, but she doesn't really have the right to deprive him of this trip just because she can't afford to go. That is a totally different interaction. And let me say this, just because you're in a relationship, right, that doesn't mean everything gets to be hunky-dory perfect. You still have finite resources, and there are times in this life when you're limited by your resources. There just are, you know? So just because she's upset doesn't...
True.
Right? Like, so I just feel like that is 1,000,000% different of a situation where the exact same thing is happening. This guy's going on the trip without her, and they're basically having the same conversation. But the key difference is, and this is, I think, the whole premise of a relationship, that you're doing stuff together. You're making decisions together. You're treating each other like you're part of each other's lives. Like, that's kind of the idea, right?
That's totally the idea.
Yeah.
And like, I love this comment that's like, you know, no, not paying, YTA, no, not paying, not for not paying for her ticket, but for not discussing it with her first. How hard would it be to say, hey, hun, Derek got these tickets and invited us to join him and blah, 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 at an Airbnb. The cost is meow, meow, meow each. I can't afford to cover both of us, but I really want to go. Like, that's being like, listen, this is important to me. I would love for you to support me in this. I understand if you can't go, and this isn't about our relationship. It's about the fact that I want to spend time with these friends, and like, you know, this doesn't have to be a big deal. It's one trip. You know, if it were approached that way and she reacted in the way that she did, then I would be like, okay, girl, like, you know, sit down. But like, the fact that it seems like he approached this in probably the least tactful or considerate way possible when he's about to enter, you know, matrimony with this person. Like, miss me with that. Like, you better hire a marriage counselor like right away, not to like be like the classic, you know, AITA, go to marriage counseling, get therapy, or, you know, break up with them, you know, like.
Exactly. Well, I think we're all on the same page here. On the title, literal, AITA for refusing to pay for my fiance's ticket, no. But AITA for how I acted when it came to this whole situation, I think we all agree. Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong, we are all saying YTA.
Yeah, no, I mean, you guys brought me over, so.
Yeah, bang the gavel.
You love to hear it. Folks, please rate, review, and subscribe. Support us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. Please join us so that I can take my girlfriend to a college football game. I don't know why I'm saying that. We're going to wrap up here on one of my favorite AITA titles ever, a listener submission. AITA for asking. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Well.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
The sin of asking. My boyfriend and I have been in a relation for 8 months, and he still hasn't deleted all the media with his ex-girlfriend.
Oh, boy.
Am I the asshole for asking him to take it all down, or is he in the right that I'm exaggerating and it doesn't mean anything to him that the posts are still up? I just feel bad reading all the things they've talked about on the posts and would feel better if they weren't there. Is it a unreasonable thing to ask? Should I just not scroll?
Oh my God, I have so many opinions about this. This is the stuff that gets me like angry, fired up, but like in like a fun way. And I know that this is a listener submission, So like,
Be gentle.
I know this person is a part of the community that I'm also a part of. And if I were to submit, I would want somebody to have a little grace with me. So I'm going to say it this way. Sweetheart.
The exhausted
Oh, man.
Like, people exist before you. They will exist after you. They have their own stories, their own lives that they own and have the right to. And I don't think is quite fair to ask somebody to give up an experience that could have been really important to them just because you are feeling some type of way. We are not responsible for other people's pasts or stories or anything. We are responsible for our own reactions, our own feelings, and our own communication thereof. So a gentle YTA to who I'm sure is a wonderful person, but just having a little hard time right now.
Damn. That was so nice.
Yeah, I'm very aligned. I'm very aligned with you, James. I think what I would say to take OP's side a little more is I could say like, hey, are you insecure in this relationship otherwise? Is this the sole problem? Are you trusting with this individual? Are things going smoothly? Is this girl still around and still part of his life? Or has he do they have very healthy distance there? If any of that were being affected, and so then really I would say these posts are a symptom of a much more problematic disease, then OP, I could defend you more. But yeah, as it is, you need to acknowledge that this was part of your boy's life, and that's that, and she doesn't need to be a witch, and she doesn't need to be the worst thing that ever happened to him, and that's it. They had a thing. It's over now. He's with you, and yes, OP, you're asking, should I just not scroll? Of course.
Yeah,
that's the
just
answer.
Stop scrolling. Don't do it.
Should I watch videos online of people being murdered? No, you're making yourself upset by the media you choose to consume. You're fixating. I mean, why are you reading old interactions they're having? And again, OP, only you know the truth. If that why is because you feel like this guy is up to no good right now, then okay. Well, then you're basically a sleuth on the case. But it doesn't really sound like, because you provided zero other information for us to think that this boyf is a problem, then I'm just like, well, you're just fixating and you have a jealous personality, and that is a you thing, because it sounds like he's a good guy, I suppose. I mean,
I mean, we don't know. I mean, the only other thing I
don't know at all.
The only other thing I would bring up is like, is he posting you on social media? And if not, okay, then all right, then we have a little bit more to investigate on the case. But right now it seems pretty cut and dry. Like, just don't go looking for things that are going to upset you. It's why I block all my exes. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's so like, Sarah, that's cold, but also I respect it.
It's not even like
I don't think it's cold.
It's just like I don't even need to see what you are doing. And like, truthfully, I don't have the self-control. I have self-control to a point, but like, if I don't take a measure like that, there will be a point where I'll be like, oh, let's see, I'm fine, and then I won't be fine. So it's like, you know what?
Oh no, you're right.
So I'm like, nah.
I'm a big advocate of it, of blocking the exes. And let me say this, sometimes like when you're breaking up with someone or whatever, it can seem really brutal to go, to just leave or whatever, to block, to be very harsh and intense about it. But the truth is there is a mercy and there is a kindness to that as well. And I think what Sarah is doing is kind to herself, and it is ultimately kind to her exes, because it can be very torturous to give people mixed signals. And that can actually be cruel. It's not nice. It's not nice to block. It's definitely not nice. It's not polite. But it actually, I think, can be kinder, because you're sending a very clear message, and it's like, this is over. Get over me. And that is going to send them on the path to the greatest, the most rapid path to happiness and moving on. And that's ultimately what you want for them, if you have their best interest at heart, and yours as well.
That is so true. And it's like, it may not be the easiest thing to do for anyone, but it's the wisest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Good
not easy.
Sarah.
Thank you.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I feel like we as a society have to get over blocking people as this like retaliatory petty move, because frankly, it's just like, you know what? I don't want to see your stuff. And there's, unfortunately, like Instagram hasn't invented a way for me to block myself. So I have to do the opposite and block you, but like it's really not about you, it's about me.
Well, but it's also, I think it works both ways. Because I think if we lived in a world with healthy boundaries, everyone would kind of operate like this. Because I think it's like, look, you and your ex, you didn't work. And there are very rare cases where you can come together, and again, with an ex. I have heard of this. But generally, like, if you know, you know. Stop going back and forth. Stop yo-yoing. Stop involving yourself in these toxic, suboptimal things. Like, and I think I've said this before, but like this isn't rare. This is the norm. People live and die entire lifetimes because they can't seem to pull themselves away from this thing that they know isn't exactly what they want and isn't really helping them. And it's like, get out, leave, be free.
My God, that's poetic.
I love that. That was a nice like JoJo reference. And I hope she's doing well. I think she is doing well. Her like most recent album was, I think, pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
What was the JoJo reference? I don't
Get out, leave.
Well, you said get out, leave, but hers is really leave in parentheses, get out. But that's just where my mind went, and I know that that's probably not where yours went. But
I was with you on that journey, so it's the end of
I really appreciate that, Sarah.
Love it. Well, I think we agree. AITA for asking. We are saying a loving but sincere YTA.
Yes.
Yeah, with the caveat that if there's more that we don't know about, then it could change. But from what we got, that's what it is.
Very well put, James. And I can honestly say with frankness and sincerity, it has been an absolute joy to have you on the program today. Oh boy, I'm not gonna cry. It makes me happy because I'm like, if people like you are the kind of people who listen to the pod, then I know we're doing something right. So,
thank you
very much.
That's so sweet. Now I'm gonna cry. Like, you know, I'm emotional today. Like, I like told you the whole thing. Like,
come on, Danny.
Seriously,
jerk those tears. All right, folks. Well, that's Go ahead, James.
Oh no, I was just gonna say thank you, and I hope the audio is okay. Danny was helping me through trying to cobble this together. So thanks everybody for your patience, and this was awesome.
Much love, and we will see you guys and have a happy holidays next Monday morning. Bye.
Bye.